I know that now, but it wasn't my fault.
Shut up! What? Who the hell is that? Latest guest of HM Prison's check-in.
God, she'd better cut this out. Maeve's night terrors are hard enough to sleep through.
Hey, don't compare me to this sensitive bitch.
I wonder what she did.
Don't be fooled. It's always the ones who feel sorry for themselves who are the most evil.
For Christ's sake, shut up!
Listen, look around, sweetheart. Whatever it is you've done to get here, no matter how you may justify it in that pretty little head of yours, this is where you belong. So get used to it and shut the hell up. Dancing, drinking, singing along to some random songs. And then she appeared, eyes staring at me. I'd known her drunk. This wasn't drunk. This was different. And she was frightened. Really frightened. We've got to leave, now. She pleaded, she begged, I swear she was high. They appeared, grinning. It was them. Them. The scum who always turned up. Not enough just to be junkies themselves. Scum to sell to anyone with enough money to buy. Willing to exploit those with just a little bit more than them.
You stuck-up bitch. Don't stop on my account. Finish your little fictional tale of self-pity. You are just like everyone who passes through here. Your eyes pan to the druggie and you assume she's a thug. You don't know shit about me. I was just like you, princess. I had dreams. I had hope. No one sits in school and decides they want to be a drug addict who deals on the side to keep the cash flowing. But when you see your mum with any filthy stranger who will give her enough for her next high, it changes what you hope for. And when some bastard beats her to death and no one cares because of what she is, hope dies.
This facility is being evacuated. Move to the communal areas.
What the hell was all that? General population kicking off again.
They never achieve anything. A bit of smoke and the buzz of adrenaline.
Yeah, the buzz.
Are you high? Jesus, Alexa.
You're shocked. Her pupils haven't been a healthy size in all the time I've been in here. She's a lost cause.
Yeah, I'm the lost cause because I'm the girl who can't stand this monotonous bullshit and so decides to take the edge off. I'd argue that makes me the most sane. I'm already in hell. I might as well be blazed while I burn.
You got that one from Sartre? I think we should go blonde.
Sorry, we're on a possible bomb threat. Maybe don't worry about my hair choices.
No bomb threat.
There was an attempted escape in the South Wing, kicking off a hostage situation, so we're fully locked down.
God, you're short, aren't you, Ginge?
It's now a bad time to say I need a piss.
Please hold it. I've seen a lot in my time, but you hovering over a bin is not something I need to add to that collection.
Well, how long will we be in here?
It depends how good a plan those idiots had. Good enough, they've bought us a week-long sleepover in here.
Let's play a game.
How old are we?
We've got a new face to get to know. I say this calls for a game of Guess Who.
Oh, don't go there.
I love Guess Who.
This version may be a little more exciting than what you're used to.
Guess Who tries to be nice to everyone to hide their own guilt.
Guess who is sniffing away at the fact that she hates herself?
Guess who's the biggest pain in my
I'm
arse?
flattered your ass acknowledges me.
Guess who thinks she's top dog because she's been in here the longest? Not something to be proud of.
Guess who, from my professional analysis, is the only genuine psychopath in here?
Well, I guess your analysis isn't really the most reliable source now, is it?
Guess who's a mummy murderer?
I was 13 when my mum got sick. Parkinson's. Just a shaking hand at first, and then a face locked into a mask. People think of Parkinson's, and they think of the shaking, but it's more than that. Scrambled messages from the brain, visions, confusions, rage. It wasn't long before she lost her voice. I can remember it, thin and rasping. I don't remember what it was like before. It's when the occupational therapist started talking about putting in a wet room that Mum started pleading with me, eyes staring into mine. I was 17 then, but I knew it wouldn't be long before I could do what she wanted. But we're Catholics, and that makes things complicated. My brothers didn't see it like I did, and they weren't with her enough to know what she wanted. So, when it came to it were me who tried to save to buy the plane ticket. Me who planned to struggle with her wheelchair. Me who planned to take her to Switzerland. Me who found a clinic that would administer a lethal injection. Look, I know what you're thinking.
No, it's just weird hearing your story. It feels like you shouldn't be in here.
Spin me round again and rub my eyes. This can't be happening when busy streets a mess with people would stop to
Understand why I'm in here. But do I think it's fair? No, not really.
I guess so. Especially if you compare it to what some people do to get in here.
One can't even keep sober. The other thinks she's some kind of hero and...
Do you really think what you did was right? I mean, don't you have any respect for the sanctity of...
Yeah. Yes, of course I miss her. She was my mum. But she wasn't herself in the last few years of her life.
So you decided to offer?
So I decided to free her. From a life of pain and misery she would have suffered. You can't tell me the humane thing to do was to watch her writhe in pain for another 10 years.
Couldn't she have controlled it? There's medication.
No, she couldn't have. Even if she could return to better physical health, there is no way that the cognitive patterns of her brain would have re-knit. There was no way she was coming back from that. Don't push me on this.
Oh, don't push you on this. Well, now I want to. You've just made it more tempting.
Don't you give us your input, psycho. No one needs life advice from a murderer.
You say it like you're not one. Did you forget the process of her asking and you saving up a bit because it wasn't cheap and then looking at flights on the internet? Was that it? I can't imagine it.
No! You can't imagine. You can't even begin to comprehend how expensive things were. Months of saving, watching her decline, watching her eyes plead with me even more. So, I took a pillow, put it over her face, and pushed hard. Oh, that's a look I've seen before. The look my brother's has, a murderer denying my family's faith when I knew what she wanted. A And you of all people have no right to look at me like that.
Why? What did she do?
She murdered family. That's what I heard.
You're downplaying it. She kidnapped some kid and killed their family.
At least mine is out of love.
Shouldn't say.
So we don't know what she did.
No. Or at least she's never confirmed it, so it's just rumours.
My rumour says I'm guilty, but you make me feel more innocent by the second.
We're all guilty, Princess.
Rumour is as good as news around here, and she's never denied it. So, Maeve, how did you feel when you kidnapped that child? No, murdered that family. Not speaking. It takes a long time to become a psychiatrist. I was proud to get through the training. Saw myself as a hero. I had the qualifications and the means to change lives. But you know, you can talk and listen to people's problems, that they have an illness. And sometimes it just comes down to intervention, to drugs, or other treatments you don't want to think about. The environment you work in, there's no time for people, short staff, quick-fire decisions, it's relentless. The repetition of listening to people talk to you about their problems every day, knowing that as much as they plead for help, they can't do anything to change. And every one of them becomes a burden.
And people call me inhumane.
It's not my fault there are people with problems, yeah? And you don't have time for family, for relationships. Colleagues become your only friends. You all look at the world through the same eyes. Trust each other, support each other when things aren't straightforward. Do you know the quickest treatment for these crazy...
Mental illness doesn't make someone crazy.
Do you know the quickest treatment when someone needs their mood altering? When they need rescuing from their terrible thoughts? Electrotherapy. It's not Frankenstein stuff, it's a science. Precise, quick results. That's the problem, isn't it? The very people who are able to think rationally are the people who won't benefit. So while you hope for consent, sometimes you know. I knew what was best. One psycho.
You can't say that either.
One patient. He'd had several treatments and it always made him easier. Then he changed his mind. Argued, resisted what I knew was best. He needed the treatment, so I made sure he received it. But he went into convulsions, vomiting, straining. And the flip bed that should have flipped failed to flip. And there weren't enough staff in the room. And we couldn't do what we needed. And my attempt to help him resulted in his death. Do I feel bad about that? No. Apart from ending up in here. It was the right thing to do. The only thing to do in those circumstances. But all those colleagues, all those friends who were doing just the same thing, turned their backs and left me as the pariah. The only one treating people in that way.
I understand.
What?
child murderer to tell us how the world works.
I didn't do that.
What did you do?
No one knows.
We do know. She killed her parents. Warm-blooded murder, they call it.
Whoa.
Do those screams of guilt sound like it was cold?
Guilt? No, those are screams of pain. She doesn't get to kill the rest of her family now and she's just so devastated about
Are
it.
you quite finished?
I could keep going, could you?
Not really.
Yeah, I could.
Don't get yourself involved, car crash.
Tell you what, we'll stop. When you stop screaming every night.
Better deal. We'll stop when you tell us what you've actually done.
What do you guys know? You said earlier.
No one actually knows.
I heard she killed the baby.
I didn't. I wouldn't do that. Attach any rumour or story you want, but I don't kill kids.
And that's the most we've ever heard her speak.
Shut up!
Go on then. What did you actually do?
She did do it. She just feels too guilty. Too far in her own denial to realise it. It would eat her up inside if she admitted the truth.
You don't know the truth!
What is it then?
Back down, Drew!
Not until I get an answer, child murderer.
I was saving her! I couldn't hurt her if I wanted. She wasn't safe. I was never safe and I wasn't having her end up like me.
Who?
My niece.
Why wouldn't she have been safe?
Because of her mother. She was horrible. All praise my high and mighty sister. Never did anything wrong, did she? Turned out great, in fact. Well, until our mum was crap. She couldn't cope, couldn't care. So we ended up with a foster mother. What a mother she was. Taking in 2 kids and looking after one for a month. I was almost 16 when she adopted us. My dearest darling sister was 11. She never had to live a life without parents. Without someone caring for every beck and call. No, but I did. And I struggled for years after. I protected her. She didn't know what I went through. And even before we ended up in that system, with that heartless old bitch, I knew I had to care. To be a mum to my sister. She didn't know what I went through. And then she had that beautiful baby. And God knows she didn't have what it took to keep her safe. And the father never liked her. He was always so arrogant. He made her worse. And they didn't deserve that innocent little baby. So I asked, demanded, but they refused to give her to me. So I took matters into my own hands. Took the child. And then they decided to care, to fight for her. And it's true. Blood is thicker than water when you can't get it off your hands. They didn't deserve that baby, but I did. I'll get her back soon.
Do you really think you'll be getting custody of that poor little child when you get out?
I'm her only living family. Our foster mother's too old to care for her.
You do realise the irony in all this, right?
Irony? Bloody irony.
You took away her parents so she could be looked after. You've just put her in the system.
What?
She's in the system.
Killed her parents. Left her without a mother. She's going in the system.
Well done. She made her just like you.
Or just like me. It matters, you know. Having someone that cares for you. Otherwise you harden. Mum went and it was just me. I was messed about. Lots of nasty people in this world, all promising good things, all wanting something from me. So I hardened. It was me. Just me, only me to worry about. And if there's no one there to care for you, it's easier to not care for anyone else. And my little way of escaping became a way of paying the rent. And if you don't give a shit and you know someone who can cook it up, you can make so much more money. Fentanyl. It's serious stuff, increased potency, but it's evil. Medical staff wear hazmat suits if they know it's around. 25 years old she was. I barely knew her, only as her dealer, but her friends knew who I was. I suppose I had a batch that was too strong. She fell unconscious, stopped breathing. Her boyfriend tried to resuscitate her and came in contact with it or breathed in her poison breath, I don't know. She died. He ended up in a coma. The irony. Their last kiss. Kiss of death. And I'm used to the judging, but no one really cares that I'm here, so I don't really care. I just sold the stuff. I didn't force it on anyone, it was her choice. But not her daughter's.
Try to do the right thing, even if our view is distorted, even if we might be wrong.
And the people who are meant to keep you safe
Reject you,
Like my brothers.
like my colleagues.
And you did what you did, even though you knew it was wrong, because they pleaded with you. We were meant to be staying over that night. I wouldn't drive to a party and then drink if I knew I was going to have to drive home. She just wouldn't listen to me. She got hysterical, and in a state there was no reasoning with her. I explained to her that I'd been drinking and that I couldn't drive, but when she accused me of being a bad friend, of making her suffer, of not saving her, I couldn't let her down. Because I'm not a bad friend. Or at least I wasn't then. I remember thinking the road was quiet that night, and that it would be an easy drive home. But to be quite honest, I don't remember much. Suddenly it became blinding headlights and piercing screeches that pulled me out from any influence I could have been under. A car pulled out, trying to cut across me. There was never enough time, he couldn't have been looking. I wouldn't have reacted quickly enough, even if I hadn't been drinking. But then, it was noise. Blasting car horns, blaring sirens, except for the silence in the passenger seat. I didn't dare look across. I didn't want to see what I knew was true. And then the police arrived, and they took me from the scene. There was barely a mark on me. Sprained wrist. I was only doing what she asked. I was only trying to save her from her troubles. I wouldn't have done it if she hadn't insisted. But it was me they blamed. The scum who sold the drugs, not her for getting high, not the idiot who pulled out, and not one of those people at that party. Not one of those people who were supposed to be our friends wanted anything to do with me. But it wasn't my fault.
But it was. Like it was my fault.
I know.
All those excuses make us harden. We can't face the truth.
about what we've done for ourselves.
And locked away, we lock ourselves away so that we don't have to risk the truth.
And that just makes the nightmares and the loneliness worse.
We sit in our own personal agony